This story I'm going to tell you is about a little boy called Dusty and the exciting adventures that he has in the world of the dinosaurs. So, listen very carefully to what happens to him. Dusty stood on the fringe of the wood looking back at the small cottage which was now his new home. "This is absolutely great," he said aloud. "I never want to go back to the city again." He turned and followed the winding path into the wood, keeping his eyes open for any sign of wildlife. "There must be lots of wild creatures in a place like this," he muttered. Dusty wandered on, unaware of the dozens of pairs of eyes that watched him from the undergrowth. It would be a while before this city boy would learn the secrets of the country, like where to look for a badger or fox, or how to creep up on a herd of wild deer. Suddenly, Dusty came across a very strange-looking tree. It stood alone, with a thick, gnarled trunk and huge roots, which seemed to be clawing their way into the earth. He clambered round, under and over the web of roots, and on the other side of the tree he found something very exciting. "It's hollow," gasped Dusty, climbing along a large root towards the split in the bark. "A hollow tree." He peered into the black hole, then poked his head inside. "I wonder what's in here," he thought, his curiosity growing. A moment later, Dusty was climbing in, first a leg, then an arm. He stood in the darkness, his skin itching as imaginary spiders crawled up his arms. In a little while, Dusty's eyes became used to the pitch black. He could see that there were spiders hiding in every nook and cranny. Furry creatures scuttled along the dry floor, and above him hung a colony of large bats. Dusty shuddered. Suddenly, he saw a glimmer of light ahead. Stretching out a hand to brush away the cobwebs, Dusty shuffled nervously along. It grew lighter and warmer, and soon Dusty found himself at the entrance of a mossy cave. He wandered back into the daylight, feeling puzzled. There was something different about this part of the wood. The air was hot and still. The trees had long, broad leaves. It was all very strange. The silence was broken by a loud crash, followed by a huge thud. The ground trembled, and so did Dusty. Another great crash echoed through the forest. The small boy was frozen to the spot in terror. His legs felt like jelly, and he wobbled all over as the terrible noises came closer. The next moment, a large tree seemed to uproot itself and came toppling towards him. With a squeal of fright, he leapt backwards, landing in a heap among a clump of small bushes. "Oh, boulders!" A deep voice boomed through the woodland. "I'll never find them this time." Dusty heard the voice again. "Oh, dear. Oh, dear." Whoever or whatever it was sounded very fed up. Dusty crept forward, parted the leaves and peered through. To his astonishment, there, in a clearing surrounded by a tangle of broken branches and trampled leaves, sat a huge, fat creature. "Oh, Bron, you've really lost them this time," it said sadly, drooping its very long neck. The great animal seemed to be searching for something, with eyes screwed up in the effort to see. Dusty realized at once what it was looking for. Lying close by in a leafy hollow was a large pair of spectacles. "He's lost his glasses," gasped Dusty, beginning to feel sorry for the helpless monster. Creeping nervously out of his hiding place, Dusty tiptoed across the clearing and picked up the spectacles. "Are you looking for these, sir?" said Dusty quietly, holding up the glasses. "Eh? Who? What?" The creature almost jumped out of its skin. "Who said that?" "It's me, sir, Dusty. I've found your glasses." The long neck looped round, bringing an oval, smiling face to within an inch of Dusty's.
"Thank you, Dusty,"
it said gently as the boy clipped the specs back in place.
"That's better. Oh, there you are. Hello, my name is Bron."
"Are you a Brontosaurus?" inquired Dusty, looking at the dinosaur with admiration.
"Yes, of course," replied Bron proudly. "A little overweight, but otherwise a perfect specimen."
He patted his fat tummy to illustrate the point. "A little short-sighted, too," added Dusty with a giggle. Bron glanced around at the wreckage and a deep, hearty laugh rolled down his body.
"Yes, I suppose that's true," he roared.
"But I still think you're wonderful," said Dusty. "Just wonderful." The two ambled together through the forest, their friendship growing with every step. Occasionally, Bron paused to munch at a particularly tender bunch of leaves, whilst Dusty spread himself out across the creature's broad back. Very soon, they came to the shores of a great lake.
"I must have lunch now,"
explained Bron. "But you've been eating all the way here," laughed Dusty. "You can't be hungry." Bron didn't hear. He was already feeding noisily in the treetops. Dusty sat on a rock and gazed across the water. "What a marvellous place," he thought to himself. Yep. A sharp bark brought Dusty back to his senses. Whirling round, he came face to face with another dinosaur. Yep, yep. A small lizard-like creature was leaping up and down on his hind legs, barking angrily at Dusty. For a moment, Dusty didn't know what to do.
"All right, Perky."
Bron's voice silenced the lizard.
"Pack it in." "Did he frighten you, Dusty?"
"No, not really," replied the boy. "I did," interrupted Perky.
"No, you didn't,"
said Bron and Dusty together. I did.
"Take no notice,"
said Bron with a smile as the scowling dinosaur hurried off sulking.
"Perky's always trying to scare people by pretending to be fierce. No need to worry about him."
Dusty and Bron played together on the shore. The Brontosaurus was great fun. His body was perfectly made for a boy to slide down like a huge banister. Dusty could make it in one go from the top of Bron's head to the tip of his tail. The two friends laughed till large tears rolled down the dinosaur's cheeks. Their mirth was cut short by a distant call. "T-Rex! T-Rex! T-Rex!"
"Oh, my goodness,"
groaned Bron, suddenly looking very scared.
"Quick, Dusty, follow me."
Dusty hurried after his friend, up the beach towards the trees. Perky zoomed past them, calling his warning. "T-Rex! T-Rex! T-Rex!" Bron reached the trees first.
"Hurry, Dusty," he called. "Run! Run!"
The air was filled with a ferocious growling as pounding footsteps approached the trees. With only a stride to go to safety, Dusty tripped and fell with a thud.
"Oh, no!"
cried Bron as the monstrous dinosaur galloped towards his young friend. There was only one thing to do. Reaching down, Bron grasped the seat of Dusty's trousers firmly between his teeth and hauled him swiftly up into the treetops. From their hiding place, the two watched motionless as T-Rex paced up and down, searching for them, his small red eyes flashing angrily. Eventually, the Tyrannosaurus gave up. With a loud roar, he turned and rushed off. They waited till all was silent again before they moved. "Thanks, Bron," gasped Dusty. "You saved my life."
"Quite all right, dear boy," beamed Bron. "Come on. I think we'd better get you back."
Bron led the way through the wood to the cave. "Bye, Bron," said Dusty, smiling fondly.
"Cheerio, Dusty,"
replied his large friend.